So here's the brutal truth no one in Hollywood wants to say out loud. Meghan Markle didn't just marry a prince. She married into a fantasy that's now unraveling in real time. When Meghan tied the knot with Prince Harry, the world assumed she had won the ultimate lottery. Castles, cash, influence, the full royal jackpot. But beneath the glittery headlines and tiaras was something a lot less glamorous. Prince Harry wasn't a golden ticket. He was a ticking time bomb of emotional baggage, a man with deep wounds, and, despite the title, not nearly as rich as she thought. Turns out, the monarchy doesn't run like Silicon Valley. Meghan thought she was marrying into billionaire-level wealth, yachts, and generational empire money. What she got instead was a prince worth only a few million, tied up in royal limitations, with just enough clout to matter, but never enough to dominate. And when the fairy tale began to crack, Meghan did what Meghan does best: pivot. Forget royal duties. Forget Netflix fluff and those awkward pineapple tutorials. Meghan's shifting gears, and her next move is clear. She's chasing a real billionaire. The kind of man who doesn't just own land and legacy, but power and discretion. No family drama, no dusty tiaras, just full-blown financial freedom and the kind of exclusivity Hollywood still bows down to. Even political commentator Megyn Kelly didn't sugarcoat it. She recently claimed, flat out, that Meghan Markle would leave Harry tomorrow if someone like Elon Musk blinked in her direction. According to Kelly, Meghan's already extracted what she needed: the global fame, the title, and the princess narrative. And now? Well, Harry's just the accessory. A man with no close friends, strained family ties, no serious wealth, and barely any career direction. And it's not just speculation anymore. Meghan's own circle is talking. People close to her say she's gone back to her pre-Harry playbook. Ambitious, Louisiana, centered, hyper-calculated. One source told Fox's Kennedy that Meghan's behaving like the struggling actress she once was, always on the lookout for the next room, the next deal, the next billionaire. But here's the kicker: the glow-up plan is flopping, and fast. In Montecito, the very neighborhood where she's supposed to be thriving, Meghan is reportedly becoming a joke. Locals aren't charmed, they're laughing. Her attempt to be seen as a regular mom while demanding private jets and exclusive invites isn't landing. You can't post pineapple hacks one day and preach climate change at elite galas the next. People are noticing, and they're talking. Even celebrities are beginning to back away. Brooke Shields, beloved, grounded, and respected, once stood beside Meghan at South by Southwest. But on a podcast recently, she subtly shaded Meghan's repetitive "I wrote a letter when I was 11" story. Shields didn't need to be cruel, she just told the truth. Not every tale is worth retelling 100 times, especially when it reeks of polished PR packaging. Meanwhile, Meghan's latest venture, a so-called Netflix cooking show, is already being clowned publicly. The infamous pineapple tutorial. It went viral, for all the wrong reasons. Viewers weren't inspired, they were laughing. The producers even left the clip out of the final cut. But Meghan, somehow thinking it was brilliant, brought it back as bonus content. That move alone showed just how out of touch she really is. And don't even get started on the brand she thought she was building. The dream was Martha Stewart meets Goop. The reality? Pinterest core fluff with good lighting and a rented kitchen. Even Meghan's jam and jelly empire, the one she hoped would position her as a modern domestic mogul, is wilting. Behind the surface-level empowerment branding lies something Hollywood despises more than failure: inauthenticity. Meghan isn't seen as inspiring, she's not relatable, and worst of all in this industry, she's not profitable. Meanwhile, Harry, well, he's barely in the picture anymore. Friends say he's become a shadow of the man he once was. The confident, outspoken military veteran is now reduced to sound bites about mental health and awkwardly nodding while Meghan speaks. Insiders claim he rarely challenges her decisions, even when they're clearly damaging their image. He's just along for the ride. And Meghan? She's floating through billionaire circles. So far, no one's caught her with anyone new. But sources say she's making herself visible in all the right rooms. Silicon Valley mixers, private charity galas, invite-only retreats in Big Sur. One name that keeps popping up is a European telecom mogul with a habit of dating actresses past their peak. No confirmation. But the sightings keep piling up. There's also talk that she's gravitating back toward Netflix's Ted Sarandos, not for projects, for proximity. He's powerful, he's connected, and reportedly, he once admired her. Meghan's playbook hasn't changed. Get close, get seen, get a shot. But here's the problem. Hollywood doesn't care about your royal title. It cares about metrics. Meghan's name used to trend. Now, it sparks eye rolls. One anonymous executive recently called her box office poison. Brutal, but accurate. Her projects flop. Her media presence sparks backlash. And even her biggest former supporters, Oprah, Mindy Kaling, the Obamas, have gone quiet. Tyler Perry, who once gave her a mansion and security detail, has hinted he wants his favors returned. Silence speaks volumes. When people stop seeing you as an asset and start viewing you as a liability, that's when the doors start to close. And that's where Meghan finds herself now. She's stuck between two worlds. Not royal enough to be embraced by the monarchy, not influential enough for Hollywood, and definitely not marketable enough for the billionaire class she's chasing. Because those billionaires, they're not dumb. They don't want drama. They don't want headlines. They don't want a woman whose image feels more curated than real. They want legacy. And Meghan, despite all the branding, still feels like a wild card, a social climber, someone looking for a lifeline, not a partner. Kennedy from Fox dropped a brutal truth bomb. Meghan's neighbors in Montecito are laughing. Behind closed doors, they mock the whole charade, the staged motherhood, the "I'm just like you" brand, the luxury dressed up as humble. It's not working. The disconnect is too obvious. And the elite class? They've caught on. Meghan's aspirational image isn't aspirational anymore. It's cringe. It feels like she's chasing a formula that doesn't work anymore. The old-school underdog-turned-lifestyle mogul storyline, but today's audiences are over it. They want authenticity. And Meghan's polished narrative feels like a 2012 Instagram ad. Too shiny. Too fake. Even her loyal base is slipping. The Obamas haven't been seen with her in ages. Oprah's keeping her distance, and celebrities who once praised her are now making jokes. The cultural shift is real. Meghan is no longer a misunderstood outsider. She's the cautionary tale, the woman who had it all but lost control of the narrative. And Prince Harry? He looks completely adrift. He gave up his roles, his titles, and his country for a version of freedom that never really showed up. What he got instead was isolation. Hollywood didn't embrace him. The royal family cut him off, and the projects he hoped would give him a voice, most fell flat. When they appear together now, the dynamic is impossible to miss. Meghan leads, Harry trails, she speaks, he smiles. His voice, when it's heard, is heavily scripted, filtered through a brand strategy that's increasingly falling apart. Whether it's the pineapple cutting tutorial or the lifeless second season of their Netflix series, the backlash is louder than the buzz. Meghan dreamed of building a brand like Goop or Skims, but there's a problem. She's not Gwyneth, and she's definitely not Kim. She doesn't create, she copies. And in an age where people crave something real, that just doesn't cut it anymore. Even Brooke Shields, a woman who has survived Hollywood at its worst, couldn't stay silent. She didn't bash Meghan. She just pointed out the obvious. When you retell a polished story over and over, it starts to lose its soul. And audiences felt it. They laughed. They exhaled, because they were done pretending to be inspired. That moment marks something bigger, a shift in public perception. Meghan's empire, the one she thought she was building, now looks more like a facade. The titles, the exposure, the press, none of it translated into lasting influence. And every move she makes now seems more desperate than strategic. The truth, Meghan didn't escape the royal family. She escaped the structure that protected her. Now, in the wild waters of fame without a script or a shield, she's adrift. Still hunting for that billionaire lifeline. Still hoping someone, somewhere, sees value in the brand. But the industry has spoken. The public has moved on. And the image Meghan spent years crafting is now unraveling, one pineapple tutorial at a time.